Actually, one more question. You're a principal at Senlac Partners?
I'm not a principal, I'm director of development.
Oh, I'm sorry. On LinkedIn, it shows you as a principal.
Actually, I am a principal, I take that back.
What's the relevance of this line of questioning, Mr. Chairman?
That is my title.
Got it. And Senlac is a owner or investor in this project?
We're
Objection.
we're affiliated with the ownership. And
So you have, so your company, Senlac, has an interest in this project. As a professional planner, are you permitted to give testimony in a project in which you have a financial interest?
I don't have any financial interest in the project.
Well, Senlac does, right?
Yeah, but
As a professional planner, are you permitted to do that?
well, there's a fine line. My testimony did not have specific planning. People asked me as a planner,
Yes.
my opinion,
Yeah.
they asked me as a planner my opinion.
Okay.
I'll let you lawyers work that out. I don't see, Mr. Jardim, I didn't see anything in my testimony that would come anywhere close to where you're going with your question.
Well, my question was pretty simple, and Mayor Doherty did ask you some planning questions, and you responded to them. Same question as a licensed engineer. As a licensed engineer, are you permitted to have a financial interest in some application in which you are testifying as an expert? Just from licensed professional engineering.
Let me just clarify that, because I think, I'm a principal. Senlac is the development manager for the ownership entity.
Yes.
So Senlac, in the entity that I work for, has no direct financial interest in this project, with the exception of as development manager.
And I'm going to interpose an
Principal and
objection. Can I finish? I'm going to interpose an objection. You're asking him a legal conclusion. I've been doing trial law. Excuse me, let me finish. I've been doing trial law for 20 years, Tom. You're asking him, are you permitted? That is a legal conclusion. And that's not to be answered by an expert witness. You're asking a legal question.
Thank you, Mr. Vitolo, but I'm not. I'm asking.
Yeah,
as
Mr.
a-
Vitolo, I agree. It's germane to the testimony and in the capacity that he's testifying in. And I think as a licensed professional, he would be familiar with the ethics rules on his various licenses.
Yeah,
I instruct Mr. Richter not to.
Finish the
I
question.
instruct you not to answer the question to give a legal opinion. I instruct you not to do that, and you guys can take me up on appeal. I instruct you not to answer that question. You are not a lawyer, and you're not going to answer legal questions about what's permitted under the law. That is not in your purview. If they want to ask you about the code or what's permitted under a zoning code, that's a question you can answer. Or as a civil engineer, what your opinion is of the engineering for the project. Mr. Jardim is asking you if you're permitted under the law to answer questions about a project you have an interest in. Courts would be very interested in that, I suppose. He's not a lawyer. So I instruct you not to answer that question.
I will take my attorney's advice. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just one more question.
Yes.
And the reason why a professional planner like yourself, who shouldn't testify in an application in which he has a financial interest, is
Testify,
because.
Tom.
Let me finish the question.
You're not
because-
testifying.
Can he finish the question, please?
If it's a question, sure.
Well, let's let him ask it and say.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I no longer have just one question. Let me ask you a few questions, Mr. Richter. You're a professional planner, correct?
Yes,
And you're guided by certain rules of ethics for professional planners, correct?
yes,
Okay, and one of those rules is that you're not permitted to testify on any matter in which you have a financial interest, correct?
yes. And just to clarify, I have no financial interest in this project.
And the reason for that rule is because if you do have a financial interest in a particular matter, that it could bias or perhaps prejudice your opinion, correct?
Tom, I have no financial interest in this project.
Is that a yes or no?
He answered the question.
I just don't, I think we can short circuit this conversation by avoiding your multiple questions by saying I have no financial interest in this project, period.
But Senlac does, correct? And you're a principal of Senlac.
Senlac is the
Correct.
development manager. There are principals at Senlac that have financial interest. I do not have any. Senlac as an entity does not have any financial interest in the project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Chairman. Note my objection to please, for the record, Mr. Richter's testimony, both as a professional planner and as a licensed engineer, given his obvious conflict.
Mr. Jardim, you would have no objection to Mr. Richter testifying, though, in the capacity of the owner's representative, would you?
If that's what he's testifying as, yes.
That's how he started his testimony. I know planning and engineering questions did come up from some professionals, but the board can, after hearing this dialogue, they can weigh what he said appropriately.
With respect, Mr. Ambassa, he was qualified at the beginning of his testimony and gave his credentials as a professional planner and a licensed engineer. So I believe that he was being presented as both.
Can I put my position on the record, please? Mr. Richter testified probably 4 times that he doesn't have any financial interest. We can put aside the legal issue for now because it's not going to be decided on this Zoom call. But he did say he has no financial interest. Therefore, if this board wants to determine what weight to give his testimony, given this tangential relationship that Mr. Jardim's trying to put forth tonight, then you can weigh it as you weigh it. But it's not precluded. And if that's something that Ms. John Basta wants to take up with myself and Mr. Jardim, happy to have that conversation.
Thank you. So we're